Hello everyone. My name is Linda and I want to tell you a story that happened to my friend April. I named this story as, "My sister accidentally knocked over our grandma's urn because I refused to give her my house." Oops, she laughed, and our parents said not to overreact. The next day I cancelled my signature as a guarantor for her mortgage. Well, let's go. My name is April, and I guess I should tell you about the mess my family turned into. It all started at my housewarming party last weekend. I had just moved into my grandmother's house, well, not moved exactly, since I'd been living there for 6 months already, but I finally got around to having people over. The house is pretty nice, actually. 3 bedrooms, big living room with a fireplace, decent kitchen. Grandma left it to me when she died. I did some cosmetic work, painted a few walls, changed out some old furniture, but mostly kept everything the way she had it. The place has good memories. I invited maybe 20 people from work and college. My parents came too, though they spent the whole evening looking like someone had forced them to eat lemons. Mom kept making these faces at Dad whenever she thought I wasn't looking. Dad just stood in the corner nursing the same beer for 3 hours. I didn't invite my sister Lily or her fiancé Marcus. We'd been in a fight for over a month, and honestly, I wasn't in the mood to deal with their drama. Lily is 2 years older than me, and she's always been the favorite. When we were kids, family vacations went wherever Lily wanted. Movie nights meant whatever film she picked. If Lily said jump, Mom and Dad asked how high. The party was going pretty well despite my parents' sour moods. My friend Sarah brought this amazing spinach dip, and my coworker Mike had everyone laughing with his stupid jokes. We were all hanging out in the living room when I heard loud voices outside. "Oh great," I muttered, looking out the window. There they were, Lily and Marcus stumbling up my front walkway. They were already drunk, probably pre-gaming at some bar. They didn't even knock. The front door just banged open. "Surprise!" Lily yelled, throwing her arms up like she was some kind of celebrity making an entrance. The whole room went quiet. My parents suddenly perked up, finally looking happy for the first time all evening. "We were at Murphy's down the street," Marcus announced to nobody in particular. "Figured we'd stop by and see what all the fuss was about." Lily was already scanning the room, sizing up my guests with this smirk on her face. She always did that, looked at people like she was better than them. "Nice crowd, April," she said, but her tone made it clear she didn't think it was nice at all. "Very suburban." Sarah raised her eyebrows at me. Mike suddenly found his shoes very interesting. The whole vibe in the room shifted. "Thanks for coming," I said, trying to keep my voice level. "There's food in the kitchen if you want some." But Lily wasn't interested in food. She was interested in making a scene. She kicked off her heels and began wandering around, touching things, picking up picture frames, opening cabinet doors. "Oh wow, April, did you really keep all of Grandma's old doilies?" she called from the dining room. "And this wallpaper, very 1985. "I like the wallpaper," I said through gritted teeth. "Of course you do," she moved into the kitchen. "And you kept her ancient refrigerator too, how sentimental." Marcus was telling some loud story about his job to anyone who would listen, gesturing wildly with his drink. Beer sloshed onto my coffee table. My friend Janet caught my eye and mouthed, "You okay?" I shrugged. What else could I do? Lily came back into the living room, surveying everything like she was a home inspector. "The bathroom tile is pretty dated. And don't even get me started on that carpet upstairs." My parents weren't actually trying to stop her. They never did. They just sat there watching while she tore apart everything I'd worked on for months. After about 20 minutes of this, my guests started making their excuses. "Early morning tomorrow, long drive home, thanks for having us." One by one, they filtered out until it was just me, my friends, my parents, Lily, and Marcus. I thought maybe she'd finally run out of steam. She'd been quiet for a few minutes, just standing by the fireplace looking at the mantel. I had Grandma's urn up there, along with some family photos and a few candles. That's when everything went to hell. Lily put her hand on the mantelpiece, made this dramatic sweeping gesture with her other arm, and knocked Grandma's urn right off the edge. The ceramic shattered on the hardwood floor. Ashes scattered everywhere. "Oh my God," I whispered, staring at the mess. Lily's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh, something fell." Then she turned to me with this bright, fake smile. "Oops, sorry, that was totally an accident." I sank onto the couch, holding my head in my hands. I wanted to cry, I wanted to scream, I wanted to disappear. Mom immediately jumped up and rushed over to me. "April, honey, it's okay. Nothing terrible happened. You don't need to react so sharply to everything." I looked up at her in disbelief. "Nothing terrible happened?" "That was Grandma's ashes." "It was an accident," Dad said firmly. "These things happen. Besides," Mom continued, "you shouldn't have put the urn there anyway. Anyone could have knocked it over. You should have put it somewhere safer." That's when I realized nothing had changed. Even now, even with Grandma's ashes scattered across my living room floor, they were still taking Lily's side. My remaining friends, the ones who'd stuck around to help clean up, just stared. Sarah grabbed a dustpan and brush from my kitchen and started carefully sweeping up the ashes while Lily sat on my couch, still smiling that infuriating smile. And that's how my housewarming party ended, with my grandmother's remains being swept into a mason jar while my sister watched like it was the most entertaining thing she'd ever seen. After everyone left, I sat on my couch staring at the mason jar full of Grandma's ashes. My friends had done their best to collect everything, but I knew some of her was still trapped in the cracks between the floorboards. The thought made my stomach turn. I couldn't stop thinking about 6 months ago when Grandma Rose died. She'd been sick for a while, but it still hit hard when the call came. Heart attack in her sleep. At least it was peaceful. The funeral arrangements fell on me completely. Grandma had split everything evenly. I got the house, Lily got cash equivalent to the house's value. About $600,000 each. But apparently having a physical house instead of liquid cash made me responsible for everything. So I planned it all, found the funeral home, picked out flowers, wrote the obituary, organized the reception. Cost me almost $15,000, but I did it because I loved Grandma and because arguing with my family never got me anywhere. Grandma had wanted to be cremated. She'd told me once that she wanted some of her ashes scattered at Crystal Lake, where she'd met Grandpa back in 1962. They used to go there every summer until he died 10 years ago. I took her ashes to the lake on a quiet Tuesday morning. Scattered about half of them where the old wooden dock used to be. Kept the rest in this beautiful ceramic urn I'd found online, white with blue flowers painted on it. Put it right on the mantel where she'd always kept her favorite family photos. Meanwhile, Lily was busy planning the wedding of the century with her $600,000. She started talking about it constantly: designer dress, fancy venue, open bar, live band, flowers flown in from some expensive place in California. She was planning to spend almost $300,000 on one day. One day. I kept my mouth shut, but it seemed crazy to me. The other half she and Marcus were going to put into some business investment they'd heard about from his brother. Everything was fine until about 2 months ago. We were at Sunday dinner at Mom and Dad's house, this weekly tradition where we all pretended to be a happy family for 2 hours. I was cutting into Mom's apple pie when Lily casually mentioned that their apartment lease was ending soon. "We need to find a new place," she said, like she was discussing the weather. "Actually, we've been thinking April should give us Grandma's house." I almost choked on my pie. "What?" "Well, it makes perfect sense," Lily continued, buttering her roll. "We're getting married, we need a family home. That house is perfect for starting a family." "But it's my house," I said. "Grandma left it to me." "Come on, April," Mom jumped in, "you don't really need a 3-bedroom house. You don't have a husband or kids. You make good money at your job. You could get a nice apartment somewhere." Dad nodded. "After the wedding, Lily and Marcus will want to have children. That house should have a real family living in it, not just one person rattling around alone. Besides, Lily added with that same fake smile from the housewarming party, who knows if you'll ever get married anyway. You haven't exactly had the best luck with relationships. That stung, but I tried to stay calm. Grandma divided the inheritance equally for a reason. We're both in the same position. If you wanted a house, you could have used your money differently. That's completely different, Lily said. I'm getting married. I deserve to have the wedding I've always wanted. I looked around the table. All three of them were staring at me like I was being completely unreasonable. Like I was the selfish one for wanting to keep the home my grandmother had specifically left to me. No, I said finally, I'm not giving up the house. April, be reasonable, Dad started. I said no. The room went dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Fine, Lily said, her voice ice cold. I see how it is. You'd rather see your own sister homeless than share what you got handed to you for free. You're not going to be homeless, you have $600,000. Had, she corrected, most of it's already spent on wedding deposits. Then maybe you should rethink your priorities. That's when she exploded. Started screaming about how I'd always been jealous of her, how I was bitter and selfish, how I wanted to ruin her happiness. Mom and Dad just sat there watching, not even trying to calm her down. I got up and left. Drove home to Grandma's house and spent the rest of the evening crying in her old rocking chair. That was the beginning of our month-long silence. No calls, no texts, nothing. Which was fine by me. I was tired of always being the one who had to give in, who had to compromise, who had to make everything okay for everyone else. But then last week, out of nowhere, Lily called me. Hey, April, she said, like nothing had happened. I have a tiny favor to ask. Marcus and I ran into a little problem with getting a mortgage. Since he had some credit issues a few years back, and my income as a freelance graphic designer isn't always steady, the banks want a guarantor. Someone with good credit and a stable salary. And? You're literally the only person who can help us. I swear we'll make every payment on time. You won't have to pay a penny. We just need someone to co-sign. I should have said no right then. Should have hung up, but I remembered what it was like when I was apartment hunting before Grandma died, dealing with landlords and security deposits and lease applications. It sucked. I need to think about it, I told her. Of course, take your time. The house we're looking at is $800,000, but it's perfect for us. An hour later, Mom called. Lily told me about the mortgage situation, she said. Don't worry about the payments. If they ever have trouble, your father and I will help them out. You won't be stuck with anything. I thought about it for 2 days. Even though we were fighting, Lily was still my sister. And $800,000 for a house wasn't unreasonable in our area. So I said yes. The paperwork came through email a few days later. Everything was already signed except for my guarantor agreement. All I had to do was click confirm and the deal would go through. But then came the housewarming party. And Lily's smug smile as she knocked over Grandma's urn. And my parents taking her side like they always did. I sat there staring at that mason jar full of ashes and realized I was done. Done being the family doormat. Done cleaning up their messes while they treated me like garbage. I opened my laptop, found the email, and clicked decline. The bank app made me confirm 3 times that I really wanted to withdraw from the mortgage process. I clicked yes 3 times. The call started the next morning. First Lily, then Marcus, then Mom, then Dad. My phone buzzed nonstop for hours. I let every single call go to voicemail. Lily's messages got progressively more frantic. The first one was confused. Hey, the bank said there was an issue with the mortgage? Call me back. By the third message, she was panicking. April, what the hell is going on? They're saying you withdrew your guarantor application. This has to be some kind of mistake. Call me right now. Marcus left one message. Just him yelling about how I was screwing them over and how they'd already put deposits down on stuff for the house, real classy. Mom's voicemails were the worst. That disappointed tone she'd perfected over the years. April, I don't understand why you're doing this. Lily is beside herself. You need to fix this immediately. I turned my phone off and went to work. The next day, I came home to find all three of them on my front porch. Lily was crying, which was new. She usually saved the tears for when she wanted Dad to buy her something. April, you have to help us, she said as soon as I got out of my car. The sellers are threatening to back out. We'll lose our deposit money. That sounds like a you problem, I said, walking past them to my front door. How can you be so cold? Mom demanded. She's your sister. My sister who deliberately broke Grandma's urn and then smiled about it. It was an accident, Lily shouted. I told you it was an accident. I turned around and looked at her, really looked at her. The crocodile tears, the dramatic gestures, the way she was clutching Marcus's arm like she might collapse without support. Was it though? I asked. Of course it was. Why would I break Grandma's urn on purpose? Because you're pissed that I got the house. Because you wanted to hurt me. Because that's what you do when you don't get your way. Lily's fake tears dried up instantly. You are such a bastard, April. I should have known you'd find some way to sabotage my happiness. I'm not sabotaging anything, I'm just not helping you anymore. Dad finally spoke up. This isn't like you, April. You've always been there for family. And where has family been for me? When have any of you ever had my back? None of them had an answer for that. Look, Marcus said, trying a different approach, we can work something out. Maybe you could loan us the down payment money instead? We'll pay you back with interest. I laughed, actually laughed out loud. With what money? You're both unemployed half the time. We're not unemployed, Lily snapped. We're freelancers, it's different. Right, well, good luck with that. I went inside and locked the door behind me. They stood on my porch arguing for another 10 minutes before finally leaving. 2 weeks later, Mom called with a different strategy. Lily's wedding is next month, she said. This whole thing has gone on long enough. We need to sit down and work this out like adults. Come to dinner Sunday. Let's all talk and put this behind us. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Mostly because I was curious what new scheme they'd cooked up. Sunday dinner was a setup from the minute I walked in. They were all sitting around the table looking way too pleased with themselves. Like they'd figured out some brilliant solution to their problem. So, Lily announced before I'd even sat down, we've been talking, and we came up with a compromise. Oh really? After the wedding, Marcus and I are going to move into your house. Just temporarily. There are 3 bedrooms, so there's plenty of space for all of us. I stared at her. All of us? Well, you'd still live there too, obviously. We'd just share the space until we get back on our feet financially. And how long would that take? Maybe 5 years? Until we build up our business and save enough for our own place. I started laughing, I couldn't help it. The whole thing was so ridiculous. You want to move into my house, for 5 years, rent-free. It's not rent-free, Marcus said, we'd help with utilities and groceries. How generous. April, this could work, Mom said earnestly. You're barely ever home anyway. And it would be nice for you to have family around. The same family that takes Lily's side in every argument? The same sister who destroyed Grandma's ashes and then smiled about it? That family? You're being dramatic, Dad said, it was an accident. Even if it was an accident, which I doubt, none of you cared that I was upset about it. You just made it my fault for putting the urn in the wrong place. Because that's true, Lily said, you shouldn't have put it somewhere so easy to knock over. It was on a mantle. How is that an easy place to knock something over unless you're doing it on purpose? That shut her up for about 2 seconds. You know what, Lily said finally, you've always been jealous of me. And now you're even more jealous because I'm getting married and you don't even have a boyfriend. That's what this is really about. Actually, this is about you being a spoiled brat who thinks the world owes you everything. Mom gasped. April rose, that's enough. No, I don't think it is enough. I'm tired of being the family scapegoat. I'm tired of Lily getting everything she wants while I'm expected to just shut up and take it. I stood up to leave. Don't you dare walk out on this family again, Dad said. Watch me. Fine, Lily yelled after me, don't come to my wedding then. I don't want you there anyway. Good, I called back, I'd rather spend that weekend doing literally anything else. And that was the end of family dinners. A few days later, Lily posted something on Facebook about how I was jealous of her happiness and trying to ruin her marriage out of spite. A couple of her friends liked it and left supportive comments. But then my friend Sarah, who'd been at the housewarming party, commented with the whole story about what really happened with the urn. Lily deleted the post the next day. Her wedding happened on a Saturday in May. I went hiking with some friends instead. Had a great time. I heard from Mom later that Lily and Marcus ended up renting some tiny one-bedroom apartment across town. Apparently the wedding ate up most of their money, just like I'd predicted. For almost a year, things were quiet. I focused on work, hung out with friends, enjoyed having my house to myself. I still don't talk to Lily, though Mom and Dad call occasionally. We keep things surface level. Weather, work, holiday greetings. No surprise visits, no emergency phone calls, no guilt trips about family obligations. Then Mom called last Tuesday. April, we need to talk, she said. Her voice sounded different, shaky. We're in trouble, financial trouble. Lily and Marcus made some bad decisions, and your father and I got caught up in it. I sat down, this sounded serious, what happened? Remember how they were going to invest half of Lily's inheritance in a business? Well, they found this startup company that promised huge returns. The guy running it said they could triple their money in 6 months. So they put in the $300,000. I already knew where this was going, then what? Then they needed more money to really maximize their investment. So they took out a personal loan for another $100,000. And when that still wasn't enough, they convinced you and Dad to invest too. Lily said it was a sure thing. She showed us all these projections and testimonials. Your father and I took out a loan against our house for $200,000. The startup failed 3 months ago. The owner disappeared with everyone's money. Ran off to some country that doesn't have extradition laws. Jesus Christ. We're broke, April, all of us. Lily and Marcus can barely afford their rent. Your father and I are going to lose our house if we can't come up with the loan payments. I felt bad for them, I really did. But I also felt something else. Something that probably made me a terrible person. Relief that for once, their favoritism toward Lily had backfired spectacularly. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because we need your help. If you sold Grandma's house, the money would be enough to pay off all our debts. We could all start over. There it was, the ask I'd been waiting for. You want me to sell my house to bail you out of Lily's mess? You know what? You could sell your own house. Downsize to an apartment, problem solved. Our house isn't worth enough to cover all the debts. Then I guess you'll have to figure something else out. I hung up. 2 months later, they all showed up on my doorstep. Mom, Dad, Lily, and Marcus, all carrying suitcases like they were going on vacation. Except Mom and Lily were crying. April, please, Mom begged, we sold the house but it wasn't enough. We have nowhere else to go. You can't be serious. Just until we get back on our feet, Lily said, a few months, maybe. Absolutely not. We're family, Dad said, you can't just abandon us. Watch me, you have 30 seconds to get off my property before I call the police. They left, what choice did they have? I found out later from my cousin Beth that they all ended up renting a house together across town. Some little 2-bedroom place where they're all cramped in together. Mom and Dad share one room, Lily and Marcus have the other, and someone sleeps on the couch. They all got jobs, real jobs, not freelance stuff. Dad's working at Home Depot. Mom's doing data entry at some insurance company. Lily's answering phones at a dental office, and Marcus is delivering food for one of those apps. Beth says they're slowly paying off their debts. It'll take them years, but they're managing. Do I feel guilty? Sometimes, late at night when I'm sitting in Grandma's rocking chair, I wonder if I should have helped them. If I'm a terrible daughter and sister for letting them struggle. But then I remember the housewarming party. I remember Lily's smile when Grandma's ashes scattered across my floor. I remember years of being the family doormat, always expected to give up what I wanted so Lily could have everything. And I remember that they never once apologized. Not for the urn, not for trying to manipulate me into giving up my house, not for taking Lily's side in every fight we ever had. They made their choices, now they're living with the consequences. I still live in Grandma's house. I got a promotion at work last month, so I'm thinking about doing some renovations. Maybe updating the kitchen, redoing the master bathroom. Making the place truly mine. The new urn sits safely in a locked glass cabinet in the dining room. It's heavier than the old one, made of solid bronze with an engraved nameplate. Rosemarie Patterson, beloved mother and grandmother. Some people might call me selfish. They might say family should always come first, no matter what. But I've learned that being family doesn't give someone the right to treat you like garbage. It doesn't mean you have to set yourself on fire to keep them warm. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is walk away.